Yes, that's right. I look like this. I can do some crazy things now these days. Can you believe it? I'm talking with my mouth closed and my eyes wide open. Anyway, Motorsports 360 back in your life and back in my house for the first time since like last November. It is February 13th, 2018. What's up? It's Marty here. Hope you are having a fun day today. And oh my gosh, this looks so funny. I'm looking at my chat. No one said anything about my face yet. It looks really funny with me just looking idle, like I'm like, I'm not doing right now.
You look like you really want to be here.
Yeah, I wish I was back in my apartment. I wish I was at the snowcross races. I gotta look at the weather by the way for that. But this
Warm.
I have to charge up my GoPro for the weekend. But yeah, here is yes, I know, right, Kenny? It's unbelievable. Anyway, the crew for tonight, we've got representing Jacksonville, Michael Kelly.
What's more impressive, Jimmy Johnson winning 5 championships in a row, or Jimmy Johnson crashing out of the Clash 7 times in a row?
The handsome and sharply dressed Kelvin LaPierre.
Hanging in there, man. Hanging in there. Another day, another dollar.
Nice, nice. And then we've got Red Hedgehog. So,
Wait a minute. Did I just miss something?
Lag.
What?
That's why he looks like a ventriloquist tonight, people. He's lagging.
Oh man, I just wish. Oh man.
boy, even if I turn my webcam off and I turn it back on, you still see this. I don't know why. It's so weird. It's like I don't know
Dude,
why.
your webcam's really lagging, Marty.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is
It's
lagging.
got to be
What
something related
the
to
heck?
Hangouts or something like that. That's not my webcam.
I guess Kelvin's just
We're
gonna
at
have to carry us tonight.
Hangouts.
Hey,
Don't worry,
hey.
Marty. I'll carry your...
Yes, yes, we're both carrying on ourselves. So we had a good weekend of racing. You know, we didn't just have the Clash. We had Daytona 500 qualifying. We had the ARCA race. We had Supercross, which by the way, the new Supercross game is out today. I played it, and oh my gosh, it's a challenging game, but it's fun. I have one win by the way, from Toronto. Was it Toronto or was it um
You won in Toronto. You didn't win in New York. You won in Toronto.
Okay, that's what I thought. But yeah, that game is a lot of fun. We also had drag racing over the weekend. Good way to kick off the drag racing season with the Kalita team. That's my team to root for in drags. Winning in Top Fuel and doing the mosh pit. That was fun. But yeah, what'd you guys think of this weekend? Michael, you can go first.
I was very, very pleased with the racing that we saw in the Clash this weekend. The new package showed some promising things to come for the future. Unfortunately, they had to ride single file for the last 30 laps of the race. But the ending was somewhat exciting. So, ARCA racing, it's ARCA. What do you expect? Same thing as usual. ARCA brakes, lots of wrecks, crazy finish. Alex Bowman on the pole for the Daytona 500, as long as he doesn't wreck in his duel. Good for him. And
Bowman, the showman is Bowman.
yeah, about wraps it up for me.
All right, what about you, Calvin?
Well, I didn't watch much of the not Formula One, the drag racing as you did this weekend, Marty, but I did watch both the forces get blown up.
Oh my gosh!
You
guys see that?
Oh yeah.
So I was happy to see that they both were able to walk away unharmed from their respective blow-ups. John Force, the fortunate, was the scarier of the two, as he blew up and his whole car went kapoof. But no, the Clash was just, you can definitely tell it's become a practice run for every driver out there. The first 20 laps are interesting because they race to the caution flag, and then after that, it was single file for 20 something laps, and nobody wanted to make a move because nobody would go with anybody. But Marty, you and I talked about it, and the thing I was excited to see was that you didn't need two cars to push to keep going forward. Once that one car got a shot, he could go forward and make a pass. That was the interesting thing I took away from the whole race weekend. I'm glad for Alex Bowman, but last time that 88 car sat on the front row at Daytona, they wrecked in the duel. So hopefully Alex Bowman could stay out of trouble and not wreck in the duel and have to go to the back of the pack.
Mm-hmm. That's right. What about you, Cody?
Best.
So about this weekend in general, the ARCA race was actually pretty interesting to watch, especially regarding like the first 2018 stock car race of the entire year, pretty much. So they had a lot of action, and literally took them forever to complete the final lap of the race. Like literally, it took them half an hour to complete it. And you know what? That's what it should be for the NASCAR Cup Series as well. Instead of just practically ending the race, they should just put on the yell and just make it more fun for us.
About an
Just
hour.
have a whole bunch of green white checkers in the final lap. The one lap dash to the finish can certainly add some entertainment to the end of the races. And in regards to the Clash was also pretty nice to see. See all the Cup guys back. Well, not all of them, half of them back. And even though it was a Penske-dominated race, they had a pretty good ending. Like, Ryan Blaney almost went for the win, but nobody was able to help him in the front. So right after that wreck and Jimmy Johnson crashing out for the 7th time in a row, man, he is a 7-time Cup champion, but he's also the 7-time champion in the grass and the Clash.
The Crash and the Clash. That's a meme now.
About an hour.
Do we call him Jimmy Crash at the Clash, like we call Dana Crash Dana Crash?
Yeah. About an hour.
But anyway, yeah.
That's actually a good one.
About
That's a good
10
one.
minutes for that
But yeah,
flag.
great
and
ending,
the-
great ending.
But yeah, if any of you guys want to come on and talk about the weekend, you know what to do. Go to Google Hangouts and look up my name. It's with an I-N, not a Y for that. Just send me a message saying, hey, you want to be on. Just send me your email, and then I will get you on the air. Anyway,
Also want to
let's get started by first. Oh, go ahead.
Decker getting the pole. That's pretty cool.
Yes, that was amazing. Yes, that Napa fan, you are actually. I just get my cat for a moment. Napa fan, you are correct. My webcam is frozen. It is cold. That's probably why my webcam is frozen. You make a good point there. I know, Carter. That's on purpose. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. As the teacher that Kelvin and I have for our Africa Today class would say, let me stop myself. Anyway, first thing, let's talk about the Cup Series race we had in the Clash. Only 2 cautions.
Did we lose Marty for good this time?
I think we.
Oh my gosh.
He lagged.
Good job, Marty. Way to freeze up again.
Blink if you're still alive. Oh, right.
Oh, right. Your camera's frozen. Well,
Yeah.
I know where he was going with this question because I talked to him about it earlier.
Yeah.
So Marty's question is basically going to be. No, I forgot which part he was on.
Was he about to recap the Clash, or was he going to ask a question about it?
It was a question about it, and
yeah, he texted me his computer crashed.
Yeah, that's what he just told me.
Rip.
Computer crashed.
Gets a better hurry up before the stream ends.
His basically what I remember correctly. What did he just say before he died?
He said we had the Clash. He died.
So the Clash happened, and I think he basically wants to get your takeaways from what you saw at the Clash. And there was 2 cautions at the Clash compared to the last couple years where there's been 3 or 4 cautions, and you finished with 7 or 8 race cars left. This year, the big one didn't happen until the final lap, going into the final corners. What was your takeaway from the experience this weekend? I believe is where he's going with that. Start with Cody this time.
What was the question again?
Your takeaway from the Clash this weekend only having 2 cautions instead of probably the normal 4 to 5, and only finishing with 7 to 8 race cars.
Well, they're not competing for points. They're more likely just competing for bragging rights. So, to be honest with you,
I'm alive.
Yay! Marty's
Andy
alive.
moves.
He's not frozen.
Yeah. Oh,
No, you're still alive, Marty.
yes.
What was that?
I don't know. My computer just somehow crashed for like no reason. I think it like exceeded its like CPU or something. I'm not too sure.
It exceeded your color barrier.
Oof.
Oh gosh.
Oof.
Oh my. All right.
Too much black in the background, Marty.
Anyway, I will laugh my butt off if that happens again. Okay. But I lost where I was. We were talking about the Clash. We only had
You got to 2 cautions, and then it went whoop, goodbye.
yes.
Yep. So
I
my
went-
biggest
I went to the pit of
takeaway
misery
about
there
this
for a moment.
is just they're only competing for bragging rights.
Yeah.
not,
That race, yeah. The only caution we had was the Jamie McMurray accident. But what about that save by Kyle Larson in the first segment?
Oh, that was crazy. I can't
I don't
believe
even
it.
know how that happened. He never even had contact. He just got loose.
Usually, when you see a car get sideways like that and hit the banking, it comes back up the track and comes back around. But he didn't even go sideways. He
Yeah.
just flew down the track and was able to save it and got right back in line. He only lost like 3 spots, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
He ended up losing the draft at one point. He ended up losing the draft because I was listening to that when that happened like 5 minutes after I got out of work and I was driving home. They said he lost the draft. Casey Kane lost the draft because Casey Kane got loose the same way, but they didn't have that angle on tape because Kane was in the back of the pack. So he got loose, and that's the second. That's 2 Chevys right there that got loose and ended up losing the pack toward the end of that stage. Before that competition caution that they like to throw out at lap 20 in the Flash happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, after all that was done, winning the race and going to my Clash results, there was Brad Keselowski, with with 1, 2, 3 for all fours. The Penske 1-2 finish would have been 1, 2, 3. Let's name off the results here. Keselowski the win. Logano got second. Kurt Busch third. My boy Ryan Blaney fourth. Austin Dillon fifth. Excuse me. Denny Hamlin 6th, Kyle Busch 7th, Eric Jones 8th, Kevin Harvick 9th, Kyle Larson 10th, Ryan Newman 11th, Jimmy Johnson 12th, Chase Elliott 13th, Martin Truex Jr. 14th, Kelvin Scott, Casey Kane 15th.
Hey guys,
Oh, Justin's here! Yay!
sorry for being late.
You're fine. I couldn't find anyone else to take over Justin for this week, so I brought him. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Marty.
And then Jamie McMurray wrecked. We're gonna talk about that Stenhouse penalty later on.
All right.
No, he advanced his position below the double yellow line, and as a result, he got posted by NASCAR. Heard that, by the way, on my Xfinity X1 app. No, I'm just kidding. The NASCAR mobile app. I actually have the subscription, so I get like the scanner and stuff like that. It's really cool. I recommend it. It's just $5 a month. It's just the price of a sub.
I'm going to buy you a sellout mug for your birthday, Marty.
A sellout mug?
A sellout mug. It's a mug with a little word sellout on it.
Oh. But anyway, with that said, let's move on to Daytona 500 qualifying. We only know 2 spots for the Daytona 500. Those spots are Alex Bowman and Denny Hamlin. The top 2, as long as they don't have to get a backup car out or change their engine, they will be on the front row. The qualifying for the top 12 was Jimmy Johnson 3rd, Kyle Busch 4th, William Byron 5th, Eric Jones 6th, Daniel Suarez 7th, Kevin Harvick 8th, Ricky Stenhouse 9th, Chase Elliott 10th, Joey Logano 11th, and Paul Menard is 12th. 2 drivers did not make laps, by the way. David Reagan and Gary Galding did not go out onto the track. All right, now we'll get to the ARCA race. I got to find the results, though, because I just lost. Because with that crash, and I lost all of my tabs. Have to pay respects.
F.
Thank you. Thank you. But a crazy race. It took us like 1 hour and 15 minutes to complete one single final lap. My goodness. The first final lap was crazy. We had the big one take place with Brett Holmes sliding on his side. I don't know how that car did not go upside down. By the way, the first race with the new Gen 6 bodies, I think they did a great job, better than they did with the previous bodies, in my opinion. Actually shows you that they can run that high line. There, you can't do a third line just yet. The two lines are still how it is in ARCA. That high line is definitely improved. What else? The top four battling for that win. It had Sean Corr, Chase Purdy, Travis Brady. I don't know who else. And then they just took each other out. They just gave the win away to Michael Self in the 15. Here's the rest of the top 10. Willie Mullen second, Sheldon Creed third, Tom Hessard fourth, Natalie Decker in the top 5. Man, Michael, you and I were talking about Natalie a lot in our kick chat, by the way.
Yeah. As soon as the news came out that she qualified on the pole, it was the talk of the kick chat.
Yes. Next, Tolman 6th, Noah Gregson 7th, Leilani Munter 8th, Andrew Belmont is 9th, and Riley Herbst is 10th. All right, and then we had the drags and Supercross as well.
Yeah, shout out to Munter too for the 8th place finish.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, Munter had a good performance. But anyway, going to drag racing, just gonna sum this up real quick. Top field was Doug Coletta. Funny car, I believe it was Matt Hagan, and Trill Stock, it was Bull Butner. Supercross, was it Jason Anderson who won? For anyone who watches it?
I don't know.
We're taking no one watching.
Marty, I think that's only you, bud.
Yeah, that's probably is. And then we had the World of Outlaws have their first 3 races of the weekend in Volusia. And Sheldon Haudenschild won the first race, got his first career out, and the rest of the 2 were won by Donnie Schatz. Kelvin knows what I'm talking about.
Donnie Schatz, first time he's ever won the Alligator.
Yep. Sweet was close though. Red Sweet, the big cat. Anyway, now we're done with that. Let's get to the headlines, if I can find them first. A few of them I have said already. The first one is on Michael McDowell. He will be making his 250th career Cup start when we go to Daytona this coming weekend. His first start, by the way, was in 2008. I forgot where it was.
Wasn't it with now BK Racing?
It was with Michael Waltrip Racing in the 00. It came in Martinsville in 2008. That, by the way, was the week before he had his qualifying run and he went upside down in that scary wreck. All right, next one is that Peyton Manning is going to be the honorary pace car driver for the Daytona 500 on February 18th. The second nationwide spokesman to be a part of the pre-race festivities for the Great American Race. The first one, by the way, is Dale Jr., as he's going to say the command to start the engine. This is just called the Daytona 500, brought to you by Nationwide.
Yeah.
And then here's the other thing. What is Peyton Manning going to sing in the pace car? Pacing the field to the green.
Nationwide will be well represented at the front of the field.
Yes, absolutely. Some news that just came out today. The famous Martinsville Speedway hot dog is going to be sold at the Daytona 500 as a result of winning Americrown's hot dog playoff, where fans decided to say the best hot dog in NASCAR. This will be sold for any of you guys going to the race. Cough, cough, Michael. It'll be at the Great American Grill 383 concession stand while supplies last on Sunday, as well as in the bistro in the infield fan zone on Friday. So, Michael, what I want you to do, try it out. It's going to cost $2. Let me know how it is, okay?
You're gonna buy it for us, right?
Well, you're going to buy it.
Marty's going to Venmo you the money.
Okay.
You're going to buy it, right?
PayPal.
Let's see. That's all. Oh yeah, there's one more thing to top, and then we have one thing in the Xfinity Series. Roger Penske confirmed on Sunday that Ford Performance will have a new Cup Series body in 2019. Oh boy, it looks like it's going to be the Ford Mustang coming to the sport. And then one more thing coming out yesterday from Xfinity Series stuff. Former NASCAR driver and current Regional Series team owner Eric McClure arrested Sunday on a Class 1 misdemeanor charge of assault and battery. This is according to the clerk's office of the Smith County Juvenile and Domestic Relations District Court. McClure was released on an unsecured bond of $2,500 after being arrested at his home by the sheriff's office following an altercation between husband and wife, according to an affidavit. All right, that does it for the headlines. 21 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's get to discussion time. By the way, if you want to be a part of the show, let me know on Google Hangouts and just send me your email address, and I will try and get you on. A few things to talk about. We talked about our biggest takeaway of the season. I want to talk about we saw the new pit stops. I believe if I saw the average pit stop is now 6 seconds slower. What are your guys' thoughts on that? We went to Michael, by the way, earlier with the biggest takeaway of the weekend on what you guys liked about it. Kelvin, you're first.
Well, in the clash, the average pit stop time was 16.7 seconds, up from its 12.4 seconds from last season. What's that going to do? It's going to shake up how you're setting up your race car at the beginning and from your first pit stop on. You're going to see drivers complaining about their cars a lot more, so they're going to pit more frequently, I think, is what's going to be the case. And I think this could end up being a good thing for NASCAR because it could end up putting the drivers that are in the front in the middle of the pack and make them have to race their way back to the front. And it's going to give fans a lot more action to see and watch that driver manipulate through traffic at these mile-and-a-half speedways. I think that's the only thing that's in super speedways. It's not going to hurt you because you're mostly pitting under caution or green flag, pitting with a group of cars under green flag at super speedways. Am I a fan of it yet? Well, it's to be determined because NASCAR is going to find out if they're going to end up going to air jack systems next year. They wanted to this year, but the drivers said, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to lose that crew member over. It takes away a little bit of its own feel for the sport. So taking that one crew member from not being able to do anything over the wall, i.e. the gas man, usually was the one doing certain things while fueling the car, is what's going to be the only different change that you're going to see, and I think it's a good thing for NASCAR right now.
All right, Cody?
Now, I haven't really heard about this whole new technology systems that are like slowing down the cars and the momentum. Now, yeah, I haven't really heard of too much information about that just yet. So, as of right now, it's very early. We only saw one race out of this, so it's really early for me to actually put up a conclusion. But we really need the pit crews out there. I don't know why they plan to take away the pit crews. Almost like robots stealing everyone's jobs nowadays. Like, at this rate, we're all going to lose our jobs to robots. That's pretty much all I got to say there. But for now, it's like, we kind of need to slow that rate down, like, by a lot. So, according to my concern, they should actually, like, not pump up with this future technology just yet and just keep the pit crews that we have.
Okay. Justin, what do you think?
Hang on, what was the question? Sorry, I had to take care of some business.
Your thoughts on the new pit stops this season?
Pit stops.
Because we saw them over the weekend.
Really pretty stupid, honestly.
What do you say that?
What? Downsizing guys. Like, why? I don't get that. I really don't.
I think in my opinion, this brings the teams now a new challenge. Because it sounded like that these pit stops were like easy. Because look how many seconds they were doing them in, like 12 seconds. Larson had his Richmond pit stop that won the race in like 10.6 seconds. I think it gives them a big challenge. The pit stop slower, and this is going to be that. This is going to be now a mental game for the drivers, kind of patience. when they want to go out, because when they want to go out badly, they can gain that track position. If you guys know what I'm talking about, and at the same time, gotta be patient though. With these pit stops being slower.
Ugh.
All right. So the next question is,
You
I
didn't
want
get
to
to
talk.
me.
Oh yeah, that's right. We forgot about Michael.
As per usual, Marty's already in mid-season form, I see.
Yes, that's right.
Uh,
Doesn't take Marty long to get there.
so I'm interested in how this is going to play out at mile and a half and short tracks, because when we see guys go and take 2 tires, with how much longer these pit stops are, they could really gain a lot of positions. I could see a guy that's back in 20th, maybe 15th, come all the way up into the top 5 for the restart and really gain a lot of track position. Um, I want to see how this works still, but I'm just shocked that we were talking about maybe a 2-second drop off when we saw he just gave
Justin,
All
birth.
right,
give
there we
birth.
go.
We were talking about seeing a 2-second drop off, and what we saw this weekend was almost a 5-second drop off.
Yeah.
So I'm for it if it really is saving the team's money, but I'd like to see how this is going to play out throughout the season. It's going to be a very interesting storyline to follow.
All right. Next question. I want to bring this up because Kelvin and I were both broadcasting and journalism majors. I want to talk about the graphics that Fox Sports provided. Now, this is like a little basic graphics package NASCAR has brought in from adopted from the NFL and the MLB and college basketball and stuff like that. But however, though, the graphics have been changed big time. It used to be at the top left where we saw 7 drivers. Now it's all the way on the left where we have 20 drivers on a screen. What are you guys' thoughts on the new graphics? Cody, you first.
Did I go first last time?
No, it was Kelvin.
Oh, okay. But
No,
yeah,
you're forgetting about Kelvin. Why would you?
yeah, why would you? So, okay, what was the question again?
Thoughts on Fox Sports' graphics package for NASCAR?
Oh, okay. It's like, honestly, it'll be something to get used to. Like, they're okay in a sense, but it's nothing that I'm really used to. It's like, we're always used to see tickers, like, on top of the screen. So, I kind of feel like that they may have messed something up, but it's not to the extent where they did something, like, terrible, you know?
Yeah. All right, Justin.
They look weird. They really do.
All right.
Just looks weird, kind of like seeing on the side going up. Like, I mean, they're not bad, but just not that great. Ugh. Just don't
Okay.
like how it's like on the side. It's kind of weird.
Okay. I like it. However, though, I know there's an improvement that needs to be done. I'll show you an example. So I have this diecast with me. It is the 2017 Alon Day, number 23 Earthwater Toyota Camry. Last year, when Fox had this is what the number will look like on the ticker. And what's it now? It's just a generic font. Get rid of that generic font. I want to see driver numbers, like actual driver number logos. I don't want a generic font. It's plain vanilla. Give me my driver numbers, please. All right, Michael.
All right, so I'm not a huge fan of it because I don't like it when the leaderboard takes up a quarter of the screen that I'm watching.
Yeah.
I feel like they definitely should have used what Formula One uses on their leaderboard, like like this.
Like the first 3
Do you
letters of
see?
the last name.
Well, yeah, and the fact that the fact that it doesn't take up the entire screen, you know, only takes up that one part, and you can still see the track around it.
Yeah.
Um, So, but the thing that I do like about it is that you can see 20 drivers on it at once. I think that's pretty cool. And for a new fan watching the sport, it's going to be really easy for them to follow it. So, I guess that's a couple good things about it. But
Who the heck is calling me right now? Hang on, let's answer this. Let's answer this. Hello?
Hello, my name is Savannah O'Dell, and I'm calling on behalf of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. We're conducting a survey with cell phone users regarding childhood immunizations, and your cell phone number has been selected at random. This call will be recorded or monitored.
what do you think, guys? Should we take the survey?
I just under the call.
The solicitor.
Marty's got a disease. Marty's got a disease for not getting the vaccine.
It's just a solicitor.
That's so weird. I've gotten 3 random calls today.
Probably all
Oh
the same.
no!
Most random calls you get are solicitors.
Here's the thing.
Literally.
One of them, that same number called me yesterday, and probably at the same time. No. Then I had a number call me twice today, a 586 number, one at 354, one at 507. Well, I don't know. That's weird.
My main two ones are I've won a cruise and they need my credit card information.
Oh my gosh! Don't
I
even
don't give it to
bother.
him. I got like 4 of those. I'm like,
Oh, you
no,
mean you're
you
not-
cannot
you're not-
have my credit card.
You're not supposed to give it to them? Oh,
No.
Dear. Oh, dear.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't.
Anyway, so back to what we were saying.
Yeah.
I like that you can see 20 drivers at once. I didn't like that about the old ticker. And I like that I feel like it's easy for a new fan to follow and really learn who drives what car and just the names of the drivers and and such like that.
All right, and now we go to Kelvin.
Well, Marty, I listened to your shot on Moody's talk show yesterday when you decided to bring this up and say that you didn't like the ticker because it's too generic, but you like the fact that it has 20 drivers and it's on the right-hand side of the screen. Going back to what Michael said, it's more appealing to a new person coming into the sport. And then you also have the old people that watch the sport who have watched the sport since Bobby Allison was around, Dale Earnhardt Sr. was around, that we're used to seeing just a generic name on, like a generic branding on there. And you're in art history of graphic design. This is just another design that's being thrown out there to make it more appealing to the eye for the drivers, because as was brought up on the show yesterday with you, drivers now have the same color paint schemes. Their numbers are almost identical. Like Casey Kane and Daniel Suarez are eventually both going to be driving a white and orange and black car on the same speedway with the same style numbers, slanted backwards, like it's going really fast. And you're going to have a 19 in orange and then a 95 in orange and black, and it's going to make it look confusing to certain people that aren't familiarized with the sport. So
Yeah.
give it time to develop.
Kind of like blaming.
I honestly think that they'll change it a little bit. They'll tweak it. They'll listen to fan input because it's Fox. Fox is very good at listening to fan input on things. And I think we'll see minor tweaks to it, but I don't think you're going to see the drastic changes that you're hoping to see without it going back to – maybe we go back to how they used to do it on ESPN, where they had it at the top of the screen. They had drivers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 listed at the top 3 by 3 by 3. And then it just rotated in and out after that. That's the only other thing I could think of that might solve any solution to what you're thinking about.
Right.
Fun fact, by the way, Kelvin actually showed Ginny the graphics from 2017, the graphics now, and asked her which one she liked. And she said she liked the ones from 2017 because the ones from 2018, you can't read it well because it's like a lower-sized font.
Well, here's the thing. Kelvin touched on it a little bit. As fans who watch this sport every single week, we can kind of deal with this new scoreboard, even though we don't really like it. Scoreboard, I mean ticker, whatever, leaderboard. But we can deal with this. We know the drivers. It's easier for us to pick out who's where on the racetrack and who's in what position. But like we were saying, for a new fan who doesn't know, I feel like this is going to be a quicker way for them to learn. And that's kind of what we need right now at a point where NASCAR isn't getting as good of ratings as it needs to be. when new fans are coming in, they need to be able to get into the sport quickly and understand what's going on. And I feel like this is a good step towards that.
Okay, Kelvin's checking on his Sabres. How they doing?
I just scored to go up 3-2.
Who are they playing today?
Tampa Bay.
Nice.
But yeah, going back on to Michael's point, I think that's exactly what NASCAR's looking for, especially with this youth movement. The average age at Hendrick now is 27 years old, and that's only because Jimmy Johnson's like 45. So
42.
So, but you take that into consideration. They're trying to get the youth movement to come in, like the youth fan base to come into the sport. And this is the easiest way I think they're going to be able to do it is for the people who might turn it on every couple of Sundays, like, oh, look, my driver's up here. The driver I like to root for is here. And they're not looking for just a certain number on the car, or they're not looking for a certain color on the ticker to come through to see where their driver's at. They're going to be able to say, oh, look, everybody's like the same now. I'll be able to find it like that.
Yeah. Honestly, with the old
Granted,
ticker,
like me,
it took with the old ticker, it took like 3 minutes for them to get through the entire field.
yeah, like, and for me, like, I don't even look for a number anymore. I know who I'm rooting for, so I just look for the last name, and the last name is what I look for. All I got to do is find a K and an A. There's not many KAs in the sport. Go by last name.
I just have to look for a B and an L. That's it.
All right, Blaney.
It's
Wearing a Casey Kane Racing sweatshirt.
Brad Sweet.
Who's he race for? I see a backwards K and a frontwards K on there. Casey
Where's
Kane.
where's your Darren Pittman shirt, fam?
It is away
All right.
until they come back to the Roval, until they come back to Ransomville.
Yes. All right, let's get to the next question for you, gentlemen. I want to talk about Stenhouse's penalty. Do you think he deserved that penalty, or do you think he just got forced below there, and you think that Kyle Busch should have gotten the penalty, or we should have no penalty at all? Let's go to Justin first.
This one's kind of weird though, because there's like two different angles. There's like that one angle where it clearly looked like Kyle Busch put Stenhouse below the yellow line, like forced him. Then there's another angle where Stenhouse kind of moved down below the yellow line to pass. It's kind of weird. Like, I didn't really talk about this because I'm just not sure. But
Looking at the replays, even though we only had 2 camera angles, I still think that Kyle Busch forced Stenhouse below the double yellow. He gave Stenhouse no room at all, and Stenhouse just advanced his position, and NASCAR posted him from it. I listened into Stenhouse's radio, by the way, on NASCAR Mobile, and he said that he thought he got forced below the double yellow line as well. So I agree with him. I know it's a ball and strike call. The NASCAR decides on it. I still think Stenhouse should have not gotten the penalty. Michael?
So, in the case of NASCAR versus Ricky Stenhouse Jr., I present you this video that faces directly down the back straightaway that you guys were just talking about.
Yeah.
So we're going to start. We're going to start here when Stenhouse makes his move below the yellow line. You see, he has plenty of room to go down there, right? He's not below the yellow line. But as you're going to see, as I continue with the video, you're going to see that Kyle Busch is going to stick his nose out from behind the car he's behind. Yeah. And he's going to push Stenhouse down there, leaving Stenhouse no other choice but to go below the yellow line. Otherwise, he would have to wreck Kyle Busch. So I find in favor of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I believe NASCAR basically screwed him over.
If I was Stenhouse, and if we had only a few laps to go in that race, and I got forced below him, you know what I would have done? I would have wrecked Kyle Busch. Because hey, I'm not giving up my position. I don't even care if you force me below that WO line. If you force me below, which could get me a penalty, I will wreck you.
See, if I'm being honest here, I don't know if I'd want to be the guy that wrecked Kyle Busch because we saw that
I get a lot mad if that was me.
Kyle got mad at Alex Bowman for not pushing him to the win in last year's Clash. And even if he did get behind him, Kyle probably still wouldn't have caught Joey because Joey was so far out in front.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I wouldn't want to be the guy that wrecked him.
Anyway, Kelvin, you were telling me, by the way, before we left, you had an interesting perspective on this.
Well, Major League Baseball brought replay into the game, and they have 14 different camera angles on every certain spot of the field to get every call they possibly can. And I believe outfielders have 7 different camera angles on them at all times in case there's a play to be called by the umpire that needs to be overturned. There's 7 different camera angles that come from New York. Then you have 7 to 9 different camera angles on every bag. Granted, baseball's a much smaller field to contain than a 2.5 mile, 2.1 mile race super speedway like Daytona is. But why do we not have the camera angles? They had 2 camera angles the whole time for that penalty. And the second one, it clearly looks like Stenhouse goes below the yellow line slightly before Bush goes down to block him. Because, yes, you see it from the front one where they're coming straight at you from turn 3. That's where that camera set up, is right at the beginning of turn 3 is where that camera set up to get them going down through the middle of turn 3 into turn 4. And then you only have the aerial shot from the middle of the backstretch to see that Kyle Busch starts to come down and that forces Stenhouse down. So those are the only 2 angles that NASCAR has that they can watch before they make a determination, because I believe it's in the rule book. You have 2.5 to 3 laps before you have to make a determination on if you went below the yellow line for an illegal procedure pass for going below the yellow line. That's not enough time, in my opinion, for a judgment call at Daytona, especially in something. Granted, it means nothing, but if this were the Daytona 500, this would be a much bigger argument to make for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. than it is right now.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Cody.
Oh, about that controversial move that happened. Yeah, I gotta say, yeah, they did have a very close review on what happened with that incident, but Stenhouse honestly should not have gotten that penalty. Despite this, Stenhouse could have had room, like a couple seconds before Kyle Busch pushed him off the track. So it was kind of like one guy trying to be sure another one doesn't win. It's like Kyle Busch can tell that Ricky Stenhouse is probably going to win and then just forces him to lose. Like, I don't know what the heck is going on right here. All I know is like the officials gave like a 10-minute review before forcing Stenhouse to go down to the pit road, serve a penalty. Like, plus it was around caution too. No, it wasn't. Not really, because he was lapped. But yeah, they probably should have had a slightly more careful review, because honestly, they probably only took a look at Ricky's side of the story, not Kyle's.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Another thing with that view that is staring directly down the backstretch, that gives you probably the closest angle or point of view that you could get from like what the drivers are seeing. And when you look at it from there, it's clear that Kyle came down and pushed Ricky below that yellow line. So that's what the drivers are seeing, and that's what the drivers are feeling. So I just feel like, based on that view alone, that they should have ruled in favor of Ricky.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And Kelvin gave birth.
Oh my gosh, there's 2 of Kelvin. All right, but anyway, we do have a caller coming in soon. Yes, he is in right now. Let me get him into the broadcast. DJ Reed is back once again. DJ, hello. Hang on, showing broadcast. Why is it not showing? There we go. What's up, DJ? What's on your mind today?
The thoughts about Stenhouse's penalty. My thoughts, he should have not gotten penalized. And no, part of this is not about hate on Kyle Busch. Dang, do I despise the guy. But no, I don't think he should have gotten penalized. You talk about the stupid double yellow line rules that have sent people to the back. 2008 Talladega, Regan Smith, he should have won the Talladega race. NASCAR doesn't give him the win because they said He went below the yellow line.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Yeah. That's what we're saying here as well. That's perfect, DJ. Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. Later, buddy.
Later.
All right. So anyway, yeah, that example of the Regan Smith, Tony Stewart, I heard that on Speedway as well today. I have to say, I do think Regan Smith should have won that race. Tony Stewart forced him below the double yellow line on the final lap, and Regan Smith got in the win there. And Greg Biffle said the next day, back when we had that show called This Week in NASCAR, he said that if he was Regan Smith, he would have turned the race leader and he would have gotten him airborne and sent him upside down. Well, that's because we had the wing car of tomorrow back in the day.
Yeah,
Yeah, we saw that happen in 2009 at Talladega when Keselowski went underneath Carl Edwards for the win. And sure, they weren't.
Revenge at Atlanta 2010.
Yeah, sure, because they weren't as close to the yellow line, but Carl could have kept coming down, and Brad could have kept coming down, and I mean, Brad had no choice but to wreck him at that point. He was going for the win, and Carl came down on him, and that's just what happens. And I mean, that could have happened with Kyle. He could have gone through the grass and tore his nose out of pieces, and I guess that would have been cooler for the fans, but in the words of Regan Smith. But
yeah. One last question here, then we're gonna get out on to our next segment. I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. With the ARCA race, they have their policy where even if a caution comes out in the final lap, they're doing one lap shootout and they will finish the race under green flag conditions. So my question is, should NASCAR adopt ARCA's style and finish the race under green even if we have a caution flag come out in the final lap? No matter what, I'll go first on this. Heck, yes. Absolutely. What do fans love seeing at the finish? They love seeing racing. They don't like seeing slow cars coming to the caution flag / checkered flag, and we know who wins it. I want to see racing happen, green flag to the finish. This is why you see in my NR 2003 leagues why I do my own format of overtime. I don't do that like what they had back in 2003. 5 laps to go or less. This race is done. I just like doing the race. If we have 5 to go or 2 to go and a caution comes out, send it to overtime. Guarantee, most likely, my race is finished under green flag conditions. NASCAR, adopt ARCA's policy. It'll be like the best thing ever. We won't have that problem like, for example, Joey Logano waiting at Talladega back in 2015. If you guys adopted it beforehand. That's my take, Michael.
I think they should because it's not coming down to a judgment call.
Yeah.
Because bye, Kelvin. When NASCAR says to put the yellow lights on and for the flagman to throw that yellow flag, it's all at a different period in time. You got, I don't even remember what his name is. I don't know. The guy, that's besides the point. Anyways, you got the guy who says to put the caution out. You got the time the yellow lights go on, and then you got the flagman waving the yellow flag. It's never at the same exact moment. But with the ARCA rule, the white flag comes out, they wreck, then the yellow comes out, it's clear cut, the field is lined back up again, and they try again. It's really easy to understand for new fans. But NASCAR was going to say, we're concerned about the safety of the drivers, and we can't do that. I mean, look at what happened in the ARCA race. I mean, someone could have died out there. They were wrecking so much. Here's the thing, NASCAR. If you're so concerned about safety, then you've been doing all these things to make your cars safer. Maybe you aren't doing enough then if you're really that concerned about safety. I don't know. We haven't had a death in NASCAR since Dale Earnhardt, so I thought you guys were doing a good job with the safety part of it.
Yeah.
Just my thoughts.
Kelvin, you remember the question, right? I think his speakers are turned down.
Well,
He's back. And yes, he gave birth. Weird.
Everyone's computer is dying.
No, mine has full charge.
Oh, I know why. I know why. I had a setting turned on for the call-ins. I forgot about that. Yeah, let me switch that. Okay, we're good now. Hang on. Show and broadcast. There we go. Now we got it set. All right. So there he is. Kelvin's back. Should adopt ARCA's policy of the finishes.
Hang on.
Okay.
No, I'm still muted. No.
Hang on. I got you. Show and broadcast. Never mind. All right. Anyway.
This is going well.
We're having some technical difficulties, as you can see. And that we apologize. All right. I think I can unmute him easily. Yeah.
Why don't we go to Justin right now?
Yeah, let's just go to Justin while we're at it. Oh wait, I fixed it. All right, we can hear you now, Kelvin. Your mic is hot.
All right, what's the question now?
Should NASCAR adopt ARCA's policy of finishes? If a caution comes out on the final lap, we do a one-lap shootout.
Well, at certain tracks, yes, your mile and a half, I wouldn't do it on because your mile and a half finishes are already boring enough as it is. Especially on a green-white checkered, all you got to do is get out in front and you're gone. Yeah. On a restart, your super speedways, yes, I would definitely adopt that. Your short tracks, yes, I would adopt that rule. And possibly the last one I would adopt that at is just based off this year's finish at the Brickyard 400 would be that racetrack right there. I'd do it for certain races, but definitely not all races.
Okay. Cody.
Here you go.
Okay, sorry, my mic was muted. Okay, so
I don't get it.
yeah, it's like it was just muted. That's so I just set it to mute. But I do believe that they should actually adopt the new system to the NASCAR Top Series because I was watching the ARCA race and it was actually really fun and I really enjoyed the race. So I really hope they bring it to consideration about doing this whole one-lap shootout because it was really exciting and I kind of want to see that again at some point.
Mm-hmm. All right, Justin.
I would say yes, because a one-lap shootout could honestly add up a bunch of total finishes. I think it could be side-by-side battles all the time if it's the one-lap shootout, and there could be a lot more photo finishes than we've had in the past. So I would definitely say yes.
Okay. All right. All right. So anyway, we're all done with discussion time now. Before we get to our final segment of the night, I do want to make a little plug out here. For those of you at home who have not seen my yet, I'm going to share my screen for you guys. I'm going to show you. All right, as you can see, I've brought back the NML Festival Fantasy League on NASCAR Fantasy Live. As you guys know, there is a new format for Fantasy Live this year. We already have 6 people that have joined. No, 5 people, excuse me. Myself, Cortez Diego Yepez. I don't know who that guy is. And Ampersand. I want you guys to join us as well. I want to make this league once again a prize eligible league. So how you can do that, look for a league, look up the NML Festival Fantasy League. There is a password to it. The password I'm going to put in right now, all caps, NOF SRL. So join that NOF SRL Fantasy League. It's going to be a league you will not forget this season, and I'll make sure I do it throughout the entire 2018 season. Join it now.
For some odd reason, Marty, I can't sign up.
That is weird. Are you signed? Are you logged into Fantasy Live through your Facebook account or something like that, or a regular NASCAR account?
No, I clicked on the link you sent me, and it just took me to what you just showed me.
Took you to this?
Yeah, that's all it let me do.
Weird. I'd say just go to Fantasy Live, create a new team, and then just look for a league. That's what I would do.
Yeah, just to be clear, Marty, we're all joining this one, or
Yes.
are we all having one for the
Yeah.
panelists?
I want you all to join this one.
Okay.
We don't make money off of this, right?
You don't make. It's not like DraftKings. However, though, someone could get a prize depending on how well you do.
A high five.
All right, but anyway, I'm all good with that. But now it's time for the final segment. A little bit of it's one of our funniest segments on Motorsports 360. A little bit of come on, man. Michael, start us off. You got a good one.
Yeah, I do, and it's going to be picking on my favorite driver. We're going to flash back to 2012. Oh, we got a picture of Jimmy Johnson wrecking in the Clash. Well, that's a little interesting. 2 to go. Couldn't make it to the end. Oh, look at that. Another picture of him crashing in 2013 with a new Gen 6 car. You got Kyle Busch up corner. Oh, there he is again in the grass on the front straightaway. Let's flash to 2015. Maybe he made it through it. Oh, nope. Too much smoke runs into the back of Denny Hamlin. 2016, he's got to finish it. Nope. Turned on the back straightaway. We got a video pulled up of last year's Clash. Is he going to make it? Oh, nope, no. Spins out on his own. How about that? 7-time champion. Think he'd be able to control his car better. Well, he's got to finish it this year, right? He's up in third. He's going for the win. Can't find my mouse. There it is. Going to get a push here from Kyle Larson. You think he'd be able to go to the front? No. Going to get turned into the wall. Jimmy Johnson. Finish the Clash. Come on, man.
All right, boys. I got two of them. They're both going to be in the ARCA series. First off, Leilani Munter, I'm calling you out, woman. Here's the thing. You get loose, you get into the grass, and you save it. Now, you do a good job on that. You go onto the apron, but then you go back into the grass? What are you looking? You look like you're a grass drag racer or something doing that. Leilani Munter, there's this part of here. You go to the right. It's called the race surface. I know there's a banking, but if you go off turn 4, hi, Dad.
Oh.
But if you go off turn 4, you get that little straightaway. That's part of the racetrack. You go on there and merge properly. You don't go back into the grass. Leilani Munter, come on, man. Oh, come on,
girl.
man. But then I got one more for you. It's not going to be on the second attempt at that final lap. The top 4 bumping to the finish line. Bump drafting in turn 3. We've got a good chance at a big finish happening. Maybe even a photo finish. Maybe even a 4-wide photo finish. Who knows? But what did they do? They took each other out. Typical ARCA fashion. Oh my goodness. Chase Purdy, Travis Braden, Sean Cora. I forgot who else. You guys had a chance of the win. You blew it. You gave it to Michael Self. So you top 4 drivers, come on, man. All right. And we got anything else? An epic fail from this weekend?
Yeah. Yes.
Go for it, Justin.
Funny segment.
An epic fail from this weekend.
Like on this weekend?
From this weekend, yes.
So anything funny?
Anything from racing this weekend that was a failure. Like an epic fail. Something that could appear on SportsCenter's Not Top 10.
Oh, an epic fail.
Yes.
Basically, the second, like the rest of the Clash.
Okay.
Running single file and not making moves. One thing that super speedway should never do. That should never happen. That super speedways are supposed to be fun and action packed, not run single file. Letting someone dominate. That's true.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's good to go there. So here's the thing for Thursday. We're gonna do an episode of Motorsports 360. It's just gonna be a 30-minute show for 30 minutes. All we have to do is who our winners are going to be. At 7 o'clock, we're going to do a live stream of our reactions. I'm going to be in my living room in my townhome. watching the race, talking with you guys, and whatever you guys want to talk about. Kelvin, if you want to join me in my townhome that night and watch the Can-Am duels, we can order a pizza from Tracks. Do it.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Yes, we'll be previewing the duels, the truck race, the Xfinity race, and the Cup race. I don't know what else is on. I just want to focus on NASCAR though because it's the best.
So basically on Thursday, tune into our and then watch our reactions as the Can-Am duels unfold.
Yes, that's correct. All right. Well, yeah, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you all for watching. For Justin, for Cody, for Kelvin, and for Michael, I am Marty saying so long. This is Motorsports 360. Say bye, everyone.
All right.
Adios.
Bye.
1, 2, 3, and a dodge.
And a dodge.
And a
Dilly dilly.